in the shadowed heart of the Evergreen Zoological Sanctuary, nestled amid the rolling hills of a sprawling Pacific Northwest forest. A miracle unfolded under the watchful eyes of fluorescent lights. It was a crisp autumn night in 2022, and the first cries echoed through the primate wing. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead primatologist, had been on call for weeks, her team monitoring the pregnancy with bated breath. The mother, a robust western lowland gorilla named Kira, had been part of the sanctuary's conservation breeding program, a desperate bid to bolster the dwindling numbers of her species. But when the infant emerged, slick and squirming, the room fell silent. Not because of any complication, but because of his color. Pure white. Not the mottled gray-black of his kin, but a shimmering alabaster that caught the light like fresh snow on a mountain peak. His eyes, too, were anomalies pinkish red, piercing through the dimness. Albinism, Elena whispered, her voice a mix of awe and concern. In the wild, such a trait was a death sentence. Camouflage lost, vision impaired, vulnerability amplified. Here in captivity, it was a spectacle. They named him Frost, a nod to his wintry hue. News spread like wildfire through the sanctuary staff. By morning, the enclosure's viewing area was abuzz with whispers. Visitors trickled in, drawn by rumors leaked on social media. "Is it real?" one child asked, pressing her nose to the glass. "Like a ghost monkey." Her father chuckled, but Elena, watching from the observation deck, felt a pang. Frost wasn't a ghost. He was very much alive, and already the world was defining him by his difference. Kira cradled him close those first days, her massive arms enveloping his tiny form. She groomed him meticulously, her fingers parting his ethereal fur with a tenderness that spoke of instinctual love. But the troop, a family of 8 gorillas, led by the imposing silverback, Thorn reacted differently. Thorn, with his broad chest and scarred knuckles from years of dominance displays, approached warily. He sniffed the air, his dark eyes narrowing at the pale bundle. A low rumble escaped his throat, not aggressive yet, but laced with unease. The others followed suit. The females kept their distance, the juveniles peeked but scampered away. Elena logged it all in her journal. Day 3. Infant exhibits normal vitality. Troop shows initial avoidance. Monitor for integration. She knew gorilla society was hierarchical, unforgiving. Difference could mean exclusion, or worse. But Frost was healthy, his albinism didn't weaken him physically. He nursed vigorously, his tiny fists clutching Kira's fur. Yet as days turned to weeks, the cracks began to show. One afternoon, during a routine feeding, Thorn charged forward, not at Frost directly, but close enough to scatter the group. Kira scooped her son up, retreating to the enclosure's edge. Frost whimpered, his red eyes wide. The incident was minor, but it set a tone. The troop's grooming sessions, those intimate rituals of bonding, excluded him. While the other young ones tumbled in playful heaps, Frost sat alone, watching from afar. His white form stood out against the lush artificial jungle veins, rocks, and misting waterfalls, designed to mimic the Congo Basin. By month 2, the public fascination exploded. The sanctuary's website crashed under traffic surges. "See Frost, the world's only known albino gorilla," the banners proclaimed. Lines snaked around the primate exhibit, cameras flashing incessantly. Tourists from across the country, even international visitors, flocked to glimpse him. Journalists dubbed him nature's unicorn, a living myth. Scientists flocked too, eager to study his genetics, his behavior. Elena fielded calls from universities, her inbox overflowing with research proposals. But behind the glass, Frost's world was fracturing. Kira tried how she tried. In quiet moments, away from Thorn's gaze, she nuzzled him, cooed soft grunts. Yet, when the silverback loomed, she averted her eyes, pulling away. Dominance ruled. One evening, as the sun dipped low, a juvenile male named Rocco lunged during playtime, swatting Frost aside like an unwelcome intruder. Frost tumbled into the dirt, his cry piercing. Kira barked a protest, but glanced at Thorn, who turned his back. So did she. Elena watched from the control room, her heart sinking. He's being ostracized, she murmured to her assistant Marcus. It's not malice. It's instinct. He doesn't blend. Marcus nodded, tapping notes into the digital log. Increased isolation observed. Infant seeks proximity to viewing glass. Oh. Indeed, Frost began lingering near the transparent barrier, his small body pressed against the cool surface. At first, it seemed random a spot to rest, but patterns emerged. He wasn't just resting. He was observing the humans on the other side. The visitors noticed too. Children waved enthusiastically, their faces alight with wonder. Adults snapped photos, murmuring about his angelic appearance. Frost stared back, his red eyes unblinking. One day, a toddler banged on the glass playfully. Frost tilted his head, then raised a tiny hand, mimicking the motion. The crowd gasped. Alina froze, mid-note. Was it coincidence? Or something more? As winter blanketed the sanctuary in real snow, Frost's routine solidified. Mornings found him at the glass before the gates opened, waiting. The troop ignored him, their dark forms clustering in the enclosure's depths. Frost ate alone, played alone, existed alone. But through the glass, a new world beckoned, one of curious faces, flashing lights, and unspoken invitations. Spring brought renewal to the sanctuary, but for Frost it marked a deepening divide. Now 6 months old, he had grown his limbs stronger, his movements more assured, yet the troop's rejection persisted. Thorn's grunts grew more frequent when Frost ventured near, a clear signal. Stay away. Kira's protectiveness waned under the pressure. She groomed him less, her attention diverted to the group's demands. Frost learned quickly. He stopped approaching during meals, stopped reaching for play. Instead, he carved out his territory by the glass, a solitary outpost in a world that didn't want him. Alina and her team debated interventions. We could introduce enrichment toys, Marcus suggested during a staff meeting. Stimulate social behavior. But Alina shook her head. He's not the problem. The troop is. Moving him risks stress, but leaving him. Look at the logs. Social interaction, minimal. Time at glass, 80%. The data was damning. Frost wasn't thriving. He was surviving. The public, however, adored him. Attendance soared, funding poured in for conservation efforts. School groups arrived by the busload, teachers using Frost as a lesson in biodiversity and acceptance. One class, led by Ms. Harper, an enthusiastic biology educator, became regulars. Among them was Lily, a quiet 8-year-old, with wide eyes behind thick glasses. Lily had alopecia areata. Her hair had fallen out in patches, leaving her scalp smooth and vulnerable. She wore hats to school, endured stares, but at the sanctuary, she found solace. On her first visit, Lily pressed her face to the glass, whispering, "You're different too, aren't you?" Frost, lounging nearby, lifted his head. He studied her, then shuffled closer. Slowly, he raised a hand, palm flat against the barrier. Lily gasped, mirroring the gesture. Their hands aligned, separated by inches of reinforced glass.
Yes.
Ms. Harper snapped a photo, but it was the moment that lingered. Word spread. Visitors began testing interactions. A boy waved. Frost waved back. A woman stuck out her tongue. Frost copied, his pinkish eyes twinkling. Alina installed additional cameras, capturing every nuance. It's mimicry, she told a visiting researcher, Dr. Harlan Reed from the University of Washington. But selective. He ignores some, engages others. Harlan nodded, scribbling notes. Could be operant conditioning, rewards from attention, or innate curiosity. As summer heated up, Frost's behaviors evolved. He recognized repeat visitors. For Lily, who came weekly with her parents, he reserved special gestures, a gentle tap on the glass, a playful spin. One rainy afternoon, Lily arrived upset, tears streaking her cheeks from a bad day at school. She sat cross-legged, head bowed. Frost approached, tilting his head. He tapped softly, rhythmically, as if soothing. Lily looked up, smiled through sniffles, and tapped back. The exchange lasted minutes, a silent conversation. Marcus filmed it, uploading to the sanctuary's internal server. This isn't just play, he said to Alina. It's connection. Lena agreed, but worry nod. Frost's time with the troop dwindled to nothing. The others treated him as invisible, their grooming circles tightened at exclusions. Thorn occasionally glared, but no more attacks. Frost was effectively erased. Then came the viral spark. A teenager, scrolling TikTok during a visit, captured Frost mimicking a dance move, a silly arm wave from a popular trend. The video exploded. Hashtag Albino Gorilla Magic. 10 million views overnight. Comments flooded. He's smarter than my ex. This made my day pure joy. Media outlets picked it up. CNN ran a segment, Frost the Friendly Gorilla, Bridge Between Worlds. Crowds swelled. The sanctuary hired extra security. Alina fielded interview requests emphasizing conservation. Frost is teaching us about empathy, she said on a local news spot. But privately, she fretted. Was this healthy? Frost ate well, but his eyes held a weariness when alone. Lily's bond deepened. She brought drawings, crude sketches of white gorillas and bald girls holding hands. Frost stared at them, then at her, pressing his forehead to the glass. Her parents, grateful for the distraction from her condition, encouraged it. He sees me, Lily told them one night. Not like the kids at school. Unbeknownst to all, a storm brewed. Animal rights activists, monitoring viral trends, questioned the ethics. Is the zoo exploiting a rejected animal for profit? One blog post read, Whispers of petitions began. Autumn leaves fell like confetti as Frost turned one. His frame had filled out, his white fur a luminous cascade. But the enclosure felt smaller, the glass a constant companion. The troop's indifference had calcified into habit. Frost no longer glanced their way. His world was the humans, their faces, gestures, emotions. The viral fame peaked with Lily's story. A photographer captured their palm-pressed moment, the image symbolizing unity and difference. It graced magazine covers. Frost and Lily, kindred spirits. Talk shows debated animal empathy or human illusion. Dr. Harlan Reed published a paper, citing Frost's recognition abilities as evidence of advanced cognition. But backlash mounted. PETA launched a campaign, Free Frost from the Spotlight. Protesters gathered outside the sanctuary, signs reading End the Exploitation. Alina defended in press conferences. Frost chooses these interactions. We're monitoring his welfare. Yet doubt crept in. Frost's appetite fluctuated. He paced more at night. One fateful day, under pressure from critics, the team attempted reintegration. They introduced Frost to a subgroup in a neutral pen. Thorn was excluded, but Rocco and another male were present. At first, calm. Then, during feeding, Rocco charged, teeth bared. Frost retreated, but the space was confined. Claws raked his shoulder, white fur staining red. Keepers intervened with tranquilizers, rushing Frost to the vet clinic. The news broke. Albino gorilla attacks zoo negligence. Crowds mourned outside. Lily, hearing on TV, burst into tears. Don't let him go, she begged her parents. Frost recovered slowly, bandaged and isolated. Alina visited daily, noting his subdued demeanor. He tapped the clinic window when she approached, a faint echo of old habits. Letters poured in thousands from children sharing stories of bullying, adults recounting isolation. Hashtag Friend of Frost trended, shifting public sentiment. The sanctuary board convened. We build him a new home, Alina proposed. Separate, with optional viewing. His choice. Approval came swiftly. Construction began on Frost's haven, a spacious enclosure with privacy nooks, enrichment puzzles, and a wide glass panel. Winter's grip loosened as Frost's haven opened. No fanfare, just a quiet unveiling. Frost entered hesitantly, exploring the trees, ropes, and pools. Then he approached the glass. The crowd waited, breath held. Lily stepped forward first, hand raised. Frost met it, signing friend, taught during recovery by a sign language expert. The moment ignited renewal. Frost flourished. He painted abstracts with fruit-based dyes, hooted greetings to familiars, even initiated games. Lily visited often, reading stories aloud. Schools adopted Frost programs for inclusivity education. Subplots wove in. A skeptical journalist embedded, converting after witnessing bonds. Activists toured, praising changes. Frost's genetics aided wild conservation. Years passed. Frost, now mature, remained a symbol. His story inspired books, films, global movements. Lily, hair regrown but spirit forever touched, became an advocate. In quiet moments, Frost sat at the glass, hand outstretched. Not alone, but connected. His journey reminded, difference binds us. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.